Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. Today we are discussing a lovely serial number 1966-1967 Tudor Oyster Prince Submariner 7928. So 6667 based on the serial number of 571,000. The watch represents Tudor's first family of Crown Guard submariners. The first Tudor subs launched in 1954. During the 1960s, they still shared cases, Rolex Oyster cases, with the actual Rolex Submariners. So it is a literal body double for a contemporary 5513. On my wrist, 16 centimeters in circumference. This 39mm stainless steel case still has all of its original metal. It's in remarkable shape, and it's not exceptionally thick, nor is it exceptionally thin. Because of the large domed plexiglass, it's 14 millimeters thick, and from lug to lug, it's a very traditional 47.5 millimeters. No bracelets, no end links, no problem. I can recommend this watch for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters in circumference. And the spacing between the lugs, if you wish to switch it up from this NATO we fitted, is 20 millimeters. Now, during the 1960s, Tudor and Rolex did in fact share cases. They shared bracelets, and if I could get this one off my wrist, I could show you to good effect just how similar they are in almost all material respects. The timepiece on my wrist representing a remarkably intact Tritium dial and Rolex Oyster case. As you can see, the case is nice and full. I'm not going to say it's never been refinished, because obviously it has, but at the same time, there's no spring bar protrusion. You can see that the lugs are fairly even in shape and mass from side to side, and you can see that's true on both sides and all four corners. It is an intact watch. You can see the same is true of the Crown Guards. The 7928 bowed in 1959 and passed out of production in 1968. You can see this watch has received a subsequent Rolex triplock crown and an upgrade bezel at some point, because the bezel is just too good to be true. The dial's not, but the bezel, I will admit, at some point was replaced. Probably the insert, not the entire structure. As you can see, the tritium dot in the bezel, and it is a tritium dot, is considerably newer than the features of the dial. I'll also say that the bezel is in wonderful condition because it's fully mobile. It doesn't fight you. I can't tell you how many times I've seen vintage dive watches where there's almost concretion and fixed bezel as a result of corrosion. Now, the dial is lovely. You can see wonderful radial indices outboard printed on outboard of the hour indices themselves. So you've got minutes, you've got a bob style counterweighted seconds hand, you have those radial seconds and minutes hashes outboard, and you've got a wonderful Tudor Oyster Prince logo with the pre-1968 Tudor Rose. The Tudor Rose, of course, you could still find it on modern Tudor products in isolation, but back then it was the one and the only. The 7928 was a 200-meter Submariner, so it was effectively as water-resistant as any Rolex Submariner of the time, and it was powered by something equally tough, though a little bit exotic by modern standards. Underneath the case back, which does say Rolex Oyster, you could sort of see it right under the NATO. It was an FEF caliber, sometimes known as an FEF, sometimes known as a Fleurier, but caliber 390, 17 joules, 18,000 vibrations per hour, automatic winding, non-hacking. It was a 39-hour power reserve power plant for the Tudor subs, and this was the last generation of Tudor subs before the series reverted entirely to ETA calibers in 1968. So this is an interesting historical piece, and in some ways it's a transitional watch. I'm going to try to get as close as I can to the dial to show you the details, because so much of the appeal of these watches is caught up in the originality of the dial. At some point, the dial probably received a little bit of a relume, but the printing is honest. It's remarkably clean, free of oxidation, clumsy marks by unqualified watchmakers, or any water intrusion. It's a remarkable survivor. The dial itself feels like a time capsule piece. The bezel, obviously, at some point has received some work, but the case is excellent. I would say the case is a true survivor and a daily driver. The dial itself is a time capsule, and the watch is wonderfully wearable, as if treated with respect, these Tudor Submariners are still daily drivers, just not daily divers. You've got a modern Rolex or Tudor dive watch for that. You can see this Rolex Tudor Oyster Prince 7928, the Tudor Oyster Prince Submariner, and make it yours on the Watchbox.